Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Am I audible to everyone? Sasidhar, good morning. Suresh Kumar, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Suprata, good morning. Am I audible to everyone? Please respond. Arul, yes, good morning, everybody. Hamid, good morning. Am I audible to everyone? Ravikant, good morning. Yes, good morning, everybody. Happy morning. So I welcome you all to this workshop, webinar on artificial intelligence and machine learning. So firstly, I thank Professor Tapan Kumar and the convener Rahul Diosha for giving me this opportunity to take this webinar on artificial intelligence and machine learning. So firstly, I will just give an introduction to machine learning. Yes, good morning everybody. Naharika, good morning. Pranav, good morning. Vivek, good morning. So firstly, I just want to give an introduction to machine learning. So what do you mean by machine learning? And then slowly I will discuss about artificial intelligence. And if possible, so I will show you one project demo. So what is machine learning? Anybody can tell me? The world is evolving around this technology. So what do you mean by machine learning? Anybody can tell me what do you mean by machine learning? Anybody can tell me? So machine learning, so what do you mean by this? The world is evolving around all these technologies. Machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science. Yes, good morning Yuvraj. So machines, it is nothing but the ability of the machines to learn by themselves without being explicitly programmed. So from this picture you can understand the human beings, they learn from past experience. Whereas the machines, they follow the instructions given by the human beings. For example, there was an accident on the road. So previously some event happened. So in future if this is going to happen, just as how human beings think that they are going to come up with some important prediction result. Similarly, the machine learning models, they follow the instructions given by the humans and they are going to come up with some important prediction results. So this is what is called as machine learning. So based on the training given to the machine learning model, the machines, they learn by themselves and they are going to come up with some important prediction result. So machine learning is an application of AI. So artificial intelligence, it provides the systems the ability to automatically learn and improve from experience. Clear with this? So what do you mean by machine learning? So this technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, so all these technologies are growing at a very fast rate. It is an application of artificial intelligence that provides the systems the ability to automatically learn and improve from experience. Say for example, I am having some data. So x equal to 1 and then x equal to 2. So based on some rule, for example, y equal to x into 2 and y equal to x into 2. So based on that rule, so what is the result I will be getting? So this is one important application. So what are the different things that can be done using machine learning? So based on the training given to the machine learning model, the machines, they learn by themselves and they are going to come up with some important prediction result. What is going to happen in the future? So you can take up any real world problems. For example, many lifestyle diseases are spreading. So diabetes is one major lifestyle disease, cancer disease, and many other diseases are spreading. So based on the training, for example, I have to predict the climatic conditions, whether it is going to be a rainy day or a sunny day. So firstly, I need to train the machine learning model. So based on the training given to the machine learning model, the machines, they learn by themselves and they are going to come up with some important prediction result. What is going to happen in the future? So what are all the important terms you should understand? So whenever I am discussing about machine learning, so all these are the important terminologies you should understand. What do you mean by a data set? What do you mean by a feature? And what do you mean by a model? So whenever I am going to talk with you, discuss with you about machine learning, so all these are the important terms you should understand. So firstly, you should understand what do you mean by a data set, and what do you mean by feature, and what do you mean by a model. So these three are the important terminologies you should understand about machine learning. So what do you mean by a data set? So a data set is nothing but a set of data examples, collection of examples that contain some features important to solving a problem. So whenever I have any problem, so how to solve any problem with the help of data. So a data set is nothing but a collection of data samples. A set of data examples, they contain some features important to solving the problem. So whenever I have any problem, so how to solve the problem with the help of this data set. For example, I was telling you, right, so what is about machine learning, data science or artificial intelligence? So towards AI, the world is evolving. So growing towards artificial intelligence, automated tasks. So whatever human beings are doing, so everything machines they are going to do. The machines they are going to act like human beings. They are going to mimic the human brains and they are going to come up with some important prediction result. What is going to happen in the future? For example, I want to predict the stock market prices, how it is fluctuating, whether it is exponentially increasing or decreasing. Clear with this? So firstly, I need to collect the data set. So they contain features important to solving the problem. So a data set is nothing but a collection of data samples, examples. They contain features important to solving the problem. And features are nothing but important pieces of data. So whenever I am going to talk with you about features, what do you mean by features? The features are nothing but the important pieces of data that help us in understanding a problem. So whatever may be the type of problem, so how I am going to solve the problem with the help of features. First I need to understand the problem. So how I am going to understand the problem with the help of features. So features are nothing but important pieces of data that help us in understanding a problem. And the third one is a model. The model is nothing but an internal model of a phenomenon, the representation of a phenomenon that the machine learning algorithm has learned. So whenever I am going to talk with you about machine learning, so all these are the important terminologies you should understand. So what do you mean by a data set? What do you mean by feature? And what do you mean by a model? So these three are the important terminologies you should understand. So next I am going to discuss with you about some real life applications of machine learning. So what are some, all these are some real time applications of machine learning. For example, in movie recommendation system, so it can be used in Netflix movie recommendation system. So based on the search pattern of different people. So some people they may be opting for some romantic movies or humorous movies. So based on the search pattern of different movies, so I am going to give some important prediction result, movie recommendation system. So this is one important real-time application of machine learning. And it is used in Facebook tagging group. So you may be a part of a smaller organization, a company, a corporate company. So Facebook tagging. So this is one real-time application of machine learning. Facebook tagging, friend suggestion. So based on the tagging, based on the purchase pattern, so it may give some suggestions. So this is one real-time application of machine learning. So what is about machine learning? So next I am going to discuss with you about two different types of machine learning. What do you mean by supervised learning and what do you mean by unsupervised learning? So this is one real-time application of machine learning. So this is one real-time application. So in that is Facebook tagging group, so it can give some friend suggestion. So this is one real-time application of machine learning. And paper, for example, if I want to detect some sort of fraud detection, so this is one more application of machine learning. So it is used in the detection of frauds. So whenever some sort of fraudulent transaction happens, so how it can be detected by employing various machine learning techniques. So this is one more real-time application of machine learning. Fraud detection, for example, credit card frauds. So many different types of frauds are happening. So how I'm going to detect the type of fraud with the help of machine learning. So once I'm going to train the machine learning model, so it can detect whatever type of frauds, it can detect the type of frauds and it is going to come up with some important prediction result. And all these are the real-time applications of machine learning. So we can go for Amazon, Uber, FIFA. So gaming, for example, Amazon. So whenever I want to go for some movie sites or Uber apps, FIFA gaming. So all these are some real-time applications of machine learning. And VR glasses, they provide a high immersive gaming experience. Virtual reality glasses, gesture control gaming. So all these are some of the real-time applications of machine learning. Clear with this? So all these are the different applications. So it has got a wide range of applications. So it can be used in movie recommendation system. So whenever some sort of movies, so based on the search pattern of different types of customers, so it can give some recommendation, movie recommendation system. So this is one real-time application of machine learning. And it can be used in Facebook tagging. So this is one more application of machine learning. So what type of friends pages I want to tag. So this is one more real-time application of machine learning. And fraud detection. So what type of frauds are happening? So accordingly I can employ various machine learning techniques in order to detect the type of frauds. And game making. So it is going to attack younger people as well as older people. So all these are the different applications, real-time applications of machine learning. So basically we have three different types of machine learning. So one is called as a supervised machine learning technique. One more is called as an unsupervised machine learning. And the third one is called as reinforcement learning. So these three are the different types of machine learning techniques. So we have three different types. The first type is supervised machine learning. The second one is the unsupervised learning and the third one is the reinforcement learning. So what do you mean by supervised learning technique? So the goal is to learn the mapping, the rules between a set of inputs and outputs. So for example, from the term you can just understand. So what do you mean by supervised learning? What do you mean by unsupervised learning? And third one is the reinforcement learning. So in case of supervised learning, so I am going to train the machine learning model with some labeled data, known data samples. So when something unknown comes in, the machine learning model compares the unknown data with the known data and it is going to come up with some important prediction result. So this is what is called as supervised machine learning. And the second type, so all these are the different types of machine learning. So based on my problem, so I can go for any of these machine learning models. So I can go for supervised learning or I can go for unsupervised learning or I can go for reinforcement learning. So what do you mean by unsupervised learning? So here only the raw data samples are given as inputs. So from the raw data sample, the machine learning model learns by itself and it is going to come up with some important prediction result. What is going to happen in the future? This is what is called as unsupervised learning. So from the term you can just understand unsupervised. There is no supervisor or teacher. From the machine learning, from the raw data samples, the machine learning model finds the pattern hidden behind the data and it is going to come up with some important prediction result. What is going to happen in the future? So this is what is called as unsupervised learning. And third type of machine learning model is the reinforcement learning. So what do you mean by this reinforcement learning? So based on the training given to the machine learning model, so we are going to train the machine learning model again and again and it is going to give me some important prediction results. This is what is called as reinforcement learning. So the first type of machine learning is the supervised learning. So what do you mean by the supervised learning? So labeled data samples. So I am going to use some known data samples. It is labeled, it is trained. So based on the type of problem, so first I need to look at the type of problem and accordingly I can go for different types of machine learning techniques. So I can go for supervised machine learning model, or I can go for unsupervised machine learning model, or I can go for reinforcement learning. So these three are the different types of machine learning models. So what do you mean by supervised learning? So I am going to train the machine learning model with some labeled data. So known data samples, labeled. So it is the important technical term you should understand. So whenever I am going to talk about supervised learning, so we should learn. So you should be aware that it is, we are giving some labeled data samples, known data samples. So whenever we are going to train the machine learning model with some known data samples, labeled data, so when something unknown comes in, it compares the unknown data with the known data and it is going to come up with some important prediction results. So this is what is called as supervised machine learning model. So the machine learning model learns in the presence of a supervisor or a teacher. Labeled data samples, known data samples. So when something unknown comes in, the machine learning model compares the unknown data with the known data and it is going to come up with some important prediction result. What is going to happen in the future? So from this picture, you can just understand. For example, I am giving this known data, apples. So it is given as input to this machine learning model. So I know the known response that these are apples. So the machine learning model is trained with some known data samples, labeled data or known data. So whenever I am going to talk with you about supervised learning, so you should understand known data or labeled data. So this is the important technical term you should understand. So when something unknown comes in, so it is going to compare the unknown data with the known data, labeled data, and it is going to come up with some important prediction result that it is an apple. So this is what is called as supervised machine learning. So the machine learning model learns in the presence of a supervisor or a teacher, known data samples, labeled data. So I am going to train the machine learning model with some apple data, known data. So when something unknown comes in, new data comes in, so it is going to compare the unknown data with the known data and it is going to come up with some important prediction result that it is an apple. So there are two different types of supervised machine learning techniques. One is called as a classification problem and one more is called as a regression problem. So what do you mean by a classification problem? So I want to classify things. For example, there is a line in between and there are some crosses, blue crosses and green circles. So I want to classify whether it belongs to class A or class B. So whenever my output is binary categorical, success or failure, yes or no kind of a thing, so I can go for this supervised machine learning model, classification problem. I am trying to distinguish classifying things. For example, binary categorical. So whether a person is going to win a game or lose a game. Or you can say whether he is affected by a disease or he is not affected by a disease. So binary categorical. So whenever my output is binary categorical, so it is called as a classification problem. And what do you mean by this regression model? So these two are the different types of supervised machine learning techniques. So one is called as a classification problem and one more is called as a regression model. So whenever my output, it varies in a continuous manner in accordance with the input. So it is called as a regression model. For example, the house price, how it is varying. Any prices I want to. So first you need to look at the type of problem. So based on the type of problem, so you can go for different types of machine learning techniques. So whether it comes under classification problem or regression problem. Clear with this? So what do you mean by this classification problem and what do you mean by this regression? For example, I want to predict the house prices. So whether my output, what is the relationship between my input and output? So whether my output varies in a continuous manner in accordance with the input. So there is a regression line. What is the relationship between my input and output? So whether it is linearly varying, then it is called as a regression problem. Clear with this? So what do you mean by a classification problem and what do you mean by a regression problem? So these two are the different types of supervised machine learning models. There is one more important machine learning technique. It is called as unsupervised learning. So what do you mean by this unsupervised learning? So it is a machine learning technique. So where we need to give the raw data points. So only the raw data points are given as input to the machine learning model. The raw data points are the unlabeled data. So it is the important technical term you should understand. So whenever I am going to talk with you about unsupervised learning, so unlabeled data. So it is the important term you should understand. So with the help of this unlabeled data, raw data samples, the machine learning model learns by itself. It finds the pattern hidden behind the data and it is going to come up with some important prediction result. What is going to happen in the future? Clear with this? So first you need to look at the type of problem. So accordingly you can go for any of the machine learning techniques. So whether it comes under supervised machine learning model or unsupervised machine learning model. So from this picture you can just understand. So what do you mean by unsupervised machine learning model? So I have a collection of different types of shapes. So I have circles, squares, triangles. So I have some unlabeled data. So raw data, I have a mixture of different types of shapes. So from the unlabeled data, so they are given as inputs to the machine learning model. So from the raw data points, the machine learning model finds the pattern hidden behind the data and it is going to come up with some important prediction result. For example, circles, they are classified into group 1. And squares, they are classified into group 2 and triangles, they are classified into group 3. Clear with this? So what do you mean by unsupervised learning? So unlabeled data. So raw data points, the unlabeled data, so it is given as input to the machine learning model. From the unlabeled data, raw data points, the machine learning model finds the pattern hidden behind the data and it is going to come up with some important prediction result. For example, the circles, they are classified into class A or class 1, whatever you call. And squares, they are classified into class 2 and triangles, they are classified into class 3. Clear with this? So what do you mean by unsupervised learning? So from the raw data points, the machine learning model finds the pattern hidden behind the data and it is grouped into different clusters. The similar data points are grouped into different clusters. So this is what is called as unsupervised machine learning. So there are two different types of unsupervised machine learning. So one is called as a clustering problem and one more is called as an association problem. So these two comes under unsupervised machine learning techniques. So the first one is called as a clustering problem, clustering technique, and the second one is called as an association technique. For example, this is my original data. So you can see here. So from this picture, so this is my original data. So it is being clustered into different clusters. The similar data points are grouped into different clusters. For example, I have different types of crimes, theft, robbery. So based on the type of problems, I have to decide whether it comes under supervised machine learning model or unsupervised machine learning model. So different types of crimes, they are grouped into different clusters. So similar data points are grouped into different clusters. And there is one more type of unsupervised machine learning. So it is called as an association problem. So what do you mean by this association problem? For example, customer 1, so he is going to purchase some 4 products, bread, milk, fruits and then wheat. And customer 2, so he is going to buy some 4 products, bread, milk, rice and then butter. So whenever a third customer comes in, so it associates. So what is the meaning? So from the term you can just understand. So what do you mean by clustering and what do you mean by association? So I am trying to find the relationship between the purchase pattern of 2 customers. So whenever a new customer comes in, so it compares the purchase pattern, trying to associate, find the relationship between the purchase pattern of 2 customers. So you can see here, so whenever he gets bread, so he is likely to get milk along with bread. So whenever a new customer comes in, so when he is going to get bread, so he is most likely that he will buy milk along with bread. So how I am deciding? So based on the association. So I am trying to find the relationship between the purchase pattern of 2 customers. So when a new customer arrives, so we are going to come up with some important prediction result. So this is what is called as an association problem. Clear with this? So we have 2 different types of unsupervised machine learning model. So one is called as clustering and one more is called as association. Till this part everything is clear whatever I am speaking? Am I audible now? Am I audible? I don't know, my audio is full actually. Am I audible now? So the third important type of machine learning technique is the reinforcement learning. So what do you mean by this reinforcement learning? So it tries to maximize its hours by playing the game over and over again. So if you can frame a problem with a frequent score as a reward, it is likely to be suited to reinforcement learning. So for example, I want to design some driverless cars towards AI. So what do you mean by artificial intelligence? So I want to design some driverless cars, or if I want to develop some automatic robots. So I can go for this reinforcement learning. So the machine learning model will be rewarded. So once it predicts correctly, the machine learning model will be rewarded, otherwise it will be punished. So all these are the different steps. So what is the process involved in any kind of machine learning development? The first one is the data collection phase. So I am going to collect the data from various sources. And the second one is the data preparation. So for doing any kind of machine learning or data science or AI development, the data set collection is one important step. So I am going to collect the data from various sources, data collection. And the second step is the data preparation. So if there are any null values or if I want to do some sort of encoding or scaling, so everything happens in the data preparation phase. And the third one is the model fitting. So I need to choose the correct machine learning model. So after cleaning my data, so I have to choose the correct machine learning model fitting. The fourth one is the model evaluation. So after fitting, choosing the correct type of machine learning model, so I can go for logistic regression or neural network models. The third one is the model fitting and the fourth one is the model evaluation. So I need to evaluate the performance of machine learning model. So once the machine learning model has predicted something, so I need to evaluate how well my model has performed. So there are different types of evaluation metrics. So I can calculate an accuracy score or I can plot a confusion matrix. The fourth step is the model evaluation. And the fifth step is the hyperparameter tuning. So if there are any errors, so all these are given as feedbacks to my machine learning model and then I will be getting the correct output. So all these are the different steps that are involved in the process of machine learning. The first one is the data collection phase. So after data collection, it is given to the second step, data preparation. So after data preparation, the third step is the model fitting. So I need to choose the correct machine learning model. So whichever model suits my problem, so accordingly I have to choose the correct machine learning model. And fourth one is the model evaluation. I need to evaluate the performance of my machine learning model and then the hyperparameter tuning. Clear with this? So till this part, whatever I am speaking, everything was clear. So what are the different types of machine learning and what is the process involved in machine learning? So all these are the different types of libraries. So I can go for Pandas library or I can go for NumPy, Matplotlib, sklearn and Seaborn. So all these are the different libraries that are used in the machine learning development. So whenever I am going to do any kind of machine learning development, so all these are the important libraries. So I will be using Pandas library for doing any kind of data manipulation task. And Matplotlib and Seaborn library for doing any kind of data visualization task. And NumPy stands for numerical Python. So for doing any kind of mathematical operations, I will be using this NumPy library. And sklearn library in order to evaluate the performance of my machine learning model, so I will be using this sklearn library. Till this part, everything is clear. Till this part, whatever I am speaking, everything is clear. Any doubts so far? Python is one popularly used language for doing any kind of predictive analytics, Neha. So you can use other languages other than Python, but Python is a popularly used language for doing any kind of predictive analytics. Clear with this? What is the use of Python? So next I am going to, so far I just gave an introduction to machine learning. So what are the different types of machine learning techniques? So next I am going to discuss with you about AI, that is neural network models. So what do you mean by artificial intelligence? Machine learning is an application of artificial intelligence. So the world is evolving around all these technologies, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science. So all these technologies are growing at a very fast rate. So machine learning is an important application of artificial intelligence. So next I am going to discuss with you about neural networks. What do you mean by artificial neural networks? So they behave similar to human brains. So it is the most complex organ of our body. So it is made up of tiny cells called neurons. So similar to, it is going to mimic the human brain. So what do you mean by artificial intelligence? From the term you can just understand, they are nothing but human-like intelligence displayed by machines. They are going to mimic the human brains. And we are going to come up with some important prediction result. What is going to happen in the future? So the human brain is made up of several tiny cells called neurons. They are connected to one another through nerve fiber called axon and dendrites. So how human brain, several neurons, they are being connected to each other, and we are going to come up with some important prediction result. So when something happens, similarly artificial intelligence. So they are going to mimic the human brains, and they are going to come up with some important prediction result. What is going to happen in the future? So the axons, they are used to pass the information from one neuron to another to which it is connected. And dendrites, they are used to receive the information being transmitted by the axon of another neuron. Clear with this? So what do you mean by this artificial neural networks? So the neural networks are made up of multiple nodes which are similar to neurons. So they are tightly packed and grouped into different hidden layers. So the output layer, they predict something useful about the input data. So this is what is called as artificial neural networks. So technically each and every neuron, it is called as a perceptron in ANN. So each and every neuron, it is called as a perceptron. So it contains multiple inputs with weights. They represent the dendrites. So some of inputs with activation function, they represent the neurons. Clear with this? So based on the activation function, so we have different types of activation function. We are going to activate the neuron and we are going to come up with some important prediction result. So we have different types of ANN. The first one is a multi-layer perceptron, MLP. The second type of neural network model is the CNN, convolutional neural network model. And the third type of neural network is the RNN, recurrent neural network model. So what do you mean by this MLP, multi-layer perceptron? So it is the most basic form of ANN, artificial neural networks. It consists of a single input layer, one or more hidden layer and an output layer. So each layer consists of a collection of perceptrons. So technically each and every neuron, so we can compare each and every neuron to perceptron. So each and every layer consists of a collection of perceptron. So input layer is nothing but one or more features of input data. And every hidden layer consists of one or more neurons. So they process certain aspect of the future and send the information, process information into next hidden layer. The output layer process receives the data from the last hidden layer and finally they output the result. Clear with this? So what do you mean by this MLP, multi-layer perceptron? So based on the type of problems, I can go for different types of neural network models. I can go for multi-layer perceptron or I can go for CNN, convolutional neural network model, or I can go for RNN, recurrent neural network model. So what do you mean by the CNN, convolutional neural network model? So it is one of the most popular type of ANN, artificial neural network. It is used in the field of image recognition, video recognition. So whenever I want to do some image recognition task in medical analysis, if I want to analyze some neural signals, so for doing any kind of image recognition task, so I can go for the CNN, convolutional neural network model. So it is same like multi-layer perceptron. So what is the main difference? So it contains a series of convolution layer and pooling layer before a fully connected hidden neuron layer. So all these are the different layers that are present in my convolutional neural network model. So firstly, it contains a convolution layer. So it is the basic building block and they perform computational tasks based on the convolution function. And second one is the pooling layer. So it is stacked next to the convolution layer. So it is used to reduce the size of inputs by removing some unwanted information. So pooling or smoothing or averaging task takes place in the pooling layer. And the third one is the fully connected layer. So it comes next to the series of convolution and pooling layer. So all these are the different types of neural network models. So what is the main difference between a multi-layer perceptron and a convolutional neural network model? So a CNN, it contains a convolution layer and a pooling layer before a fully connected hidden neuron layer. So that is the main difference between a MLP, multi-layer perceptron, and convolutional neural network model. And the third type of neural network is the RNN, recurrent neural network models. So they don't. So from the previous past information, they make decisions. What is going to happen in the future? So the error signal. So from the output, a portion of output that is it is given as feedback to RNN, and it is going to predict what is going to happen in the future. Clear with this? So this is what is called as RNN. So basically, in case of feed-forward neural network, so far I was discussing with you about MLP. What do you mean by multi-layer perceptron? And then I was discussing with you about CNN, convolutional neural network model. And there is one more type of neural network. It is called as a recurrent neural network model, RNN. So it stores the past information. They make decisions based on what they have learned from the past. Clear with this? Till this part, whatever I am speaking, everything is clear. So next I am going to discuss one small application, chatbots. So how it is being created. So you can keep this as an application of AI and ML. So anybody can tell me what do you mean by a chatbot? So you would have heard, right? Anybody can tell me what do you mean by a chatbot? So far I just discussed with you, I gave an introduction to machine learning. So what are the different types of machine learning and what do you mean by AI, artificial intelligence? So the world is evolving around all these technologies. So next I am going to discuss with you about chatbots. So what do you mean by chatbots? Anybody can tell me what do you mean by chatbots? For example, you can imagine it is used to capture the human input, speech input of humans. They process the speech input and it is going to give some important result. They process the text and it is going to give me the prediction result. So we are going to interact. For example, you can imagine medical inquiry chatbots, college inquiry chatbots. So this is one important application of machine learning and AI. So chatbots, it is growing at a very, very fast rate. So for example, whenever something. So it captures the human speech input. They process the speech input and it is going to give some important result. So this is what is called as a chatbot. So inside a university, so if I want to know, so what are the different things that are happening inside a university? So I can go for this chatbots. For example, what are the different events that are taking place in a college? So what are the technical symposiums that are happening? So if I want to know about all these things, I can go for this chatbots. So it is going to capture the human queries. It is going to process the text. It is used to capture the speech input of humans. They process the text and it is going to give some important prediction result. So this is what is called as chatbots. Similarly, I can go for medical inquiry chatbot. So it can be used. So wherever, for example, based on the symptoms given by the patients. So it is going to process this, it is going to capture the speech input of humans and it is going to give some important prediction result. Clear with this? So this is how the system architecture of a chatbot looks like. So using this machine learning and artificial intelligence, so you can develop anything. So this is one simple application. I am going to discuss with you about this chatbot application. So all these are the different blocks that are present in the system architecture. So firstly, the user query. So it is going to get the user query. It is given to this block, chatbot unit. And then it is given to this NLP module. So it is going to process the query and we are going to get the corresponding result. Clear with this? So what do you mean by this NLP, natural language processing? So this is one important application, chatbot application. So similar to English language, the machines, they process the language and we are going to come up with some important prediction result. Clear with this? What do you mean by this chatbot application? So this is one important application of artificial intelligence and machine learning. So I am going to discuss this practically. So let me just show you the coding part and let me just explain. So firstly we need to train the chatbot. So if I want the chatbot to do anything, so firstly I am going to train my chatbot. So I am storing a file called trainchatbot.py. So firstly I need to import the libraries or modules. So what are the essential libraries? So firstly I need to import the corresponding libraries. So I am just importing the NLTK module, Natural Language Toolkit module. And from nltk.stem I am importing a BirdNet lemmatizer. So in order to perform any of the NLP tasks, I require this module called NLTK, Natural Language Toolkit. And then I am importing the JSON module, pickle module. So from keras.models, I am importing a sequential model. And from keras.layers, I am importing a dense layer and then activation layer. And from keras.optimizer, I am importing an SDD. And I am importing a random module. So firstly, I need to import the essential modules. So what are the important modules that are required for our development? So firstly, I need to import the corresponding modules. So after importing all these modules and libraries, I am just initializing all this. Births, classes, documents. So I am just opening this intents.json. So I have stored some key value pairs. So I am just reading this JSON file and it is stored in the variable data file. and JSON.loads. So I am just loading this data file. It is stored in the variable intents. So for intent in intents of, so I am picking each and every intents, and for pattern in intent of patterns. So I am tokenizing each and every word. So I am picking each and every intent, and from this I am picking the pattern and I am tokenizing. So how am I going to capture the speech input? So natural language processing. So it contains a library called NLTK, Natural Language Toolkit. So NLTK.word tokenize, I am just passing this pattern. It is stored in the variable W. And words.extend of W. Clear with this? And documents.append of W, intent of tag. I am adding to my classes list. So from this intent I am picking up each and every tag and it is added to my classes list. So I am going to lematize and lower each word and remove duplicates. So I can go for this lematizer module. So if I want to ignore, if I want to remove some duplicates, so all this comes under the cleaning process. So whenever the human beings, they are going to speak something, so I am going to capture the speech input. So it is used for processing the text and it is going to give up some important result. So sorted off. So I am just sorting the classes and I am finding the length of documents. So whatever is the length of documents, length of classes, length of words. And pickle.dump function. So I am storing in words.pickle and classes.pickle. And then I am picking for doc and documents. So I am using a bag of words for each and every sentence. And I am storing this pattern words. Clear with this for W in words. So I am picking this. And then I am using this shuffle function. Finally, I am going for this train and test list. So training of : 0, : 1. They are stored in the variable train x and then train y. And then I am initializing a sequential model. So whatever is the type of model, so I am just initializing the sequential model. It is stored in the variable model. And model.addOf. So I am just adding the dense layer. It is going to take up some 128 features, input shape and activation. So I am giving here as ReLU, rectified exponential linear unit. And I am adding a dropout layer, dense layer. Finally, I am training my machine learning model. So what is the epochs, batch size and verbose? And I am storing in the chatbot model.h5 file. So based on the training given to the machine learning models, you can see here. So the chat box, it is going to predict something. So I will just run this file and let me show you the output. Just go to the run option and there is a module called run module. So it is going to take some time. So whatever I am typing here, for example, I am just saying hello everybody. So whatever I am typing here, so just click the send button. So the bot is replying, hello, thanks for asking. Clear with this? So this is one simple application. So several other applications can be done. So whatever real world problems, for example, if I want to predict the stock market prices, house prices, insurance prices, or if I want to predict the groundwater level, So whatever type of applications I want to develop, so everything can be developed using machine learning. So we can go for different types of machine learning algorithms. So any doubts? Any doubts in today's topic? So I just gave an introduction to machine learning, and then I discussed with you about what do you mean by, so I gave an application of machine learning. So what is AI and chatbot application? Any doubts? Everything is clear? Everything is clear? Any doubts in today's topic? Everything is clear? Yes, regarding books, I will just tell you Sandeep Kumar. Yes, I will give you the chatbot code. Any more doubts? Everything is clear? So using Python idle, you can create a chatbot. Sneha, any more doubts? Everything is clear?